The story begins in 1969. Paul Max Lloyd Jones takes his girlfriend, Iris Breck Bassinger, on a special date to Skyview, a newly opened high-rise restaurant. Iris, an easy with heights, becomes even more unsettled when she sees a young boy snatch a penny from a wishing fountain. Inside the elevator, the same boy starts stomping on its glass floor, trying to scare her. At the restaurant, bartender uncorks a wine bottle, sending the cork flying into a chandelier. A shard falls and creates a small crack in the reinforced glass dance floor. Feeling more anxious, Iris retreats to the restroom, where she becomes nauseous, revealing that she's a few months pregnant. There, she meets the young son of a lounge singer, who congratulates her and encourages her to share the news with Paul, even though Iris is afraid of how he'll react. Later, Paul takes Iris to the observation deck and proposes. When she reveals the pregnancy, Paul is thrilled. Just as they embrace, the boy from earlier starts tossing coins off the edge. One of the coins ends up inside a ventilation shaft, triggering a chain reaction. A fan propels the penny into a valve, releasing gas throughout the restaurant. As the couple dances on the now weakened glass floor, it gives way. Guests plummet to their deaths, including Paul. The gas ignites from an open flame, setting off a devastating explosion. Iris tries to escape but faces several obstacles. An overcrowded elevator crashes, the staircases collapse, and the structure begins to fall apart. Eventually, the same penny lands on a piano, sending it smashing through the windows, killing more guests. The mischievous boy is crushed by the falling piano after a brief moment of survival. Iris spots the singer's son still alive and crawls across the unstable floor to rescue him, but as the platform collapses beneath them, Iris's engagement ring gets caught. The strain rips the skin off her finger, and she and the boy fall. The child dies on impact, and Iris is impaled through the mouth by a shard of glass. Suddenly, we snap to the present day, where Stephanie Reyes Keitlin Santawana jolts awake from this gruesome nightmare. She has been haunted by this recurring dream, and it's severely affecting her mental health and academic performance. After some digging, Stephanie realizes that Iris was her estranged grandmother, encouraged by her roommate. She returns home to find answers. Back home, she reconnects with her father Marty Timpoli and younger brother Charlie Teo Briones. Marty is cold when Stephanie asks about Iris. He blames her for their family Espagne and for her mom, her Darlene Raya Kilstead, leaving them. Charlie resents Stephanie for cutting off contact after heading to college. Stephanie visits her cousins Julia, Eric, and Bobby Campbell. It's clear that Charlie has grown closer to them in her absence. Looking for more information, Stephanie questions her Uncle Howard and Aunt Brenda. Howard is furious. He recalls how Iris's trauma over the Skyview disaster was passed down to her children, especially after Paul's death. Brenda, more sympathetic, discreetly leads Stephanie to a box of letters that Iris had written, warning the family about death's pattern. Using the letters, Stephanie finds Iris, now played by Gabrielle Rose, who has been living in an isolated, fortified compound for over 2 decades. Iris is dying of cancer and has spent her life researching death's design, documenting various tragic events like the Route 23 pileup and Flight 180. Iris explains that after her premonition, she managed to save everyone, but now, death is coming for her descendants, one by one, because they were never meant to exist. She urges Stephanie to stay, but when Stephanie runs, Iris follows to give her the notes. In doing so, a pressurized fire extinguisher launches a weather vane that kills Iris instantly. At Iris's funeral, Darlene reappears, now living out of an RV. Stephanie is enraged over her abandonment, and Charlie confronts Stephanie for doing the same when she left. Later, at a family barbecue, subtle signs of danger appear: a faulty gas line, broken glass in a drink, and a trampoline over a rake. Despite Darlene's efforts to prevent disaster, a series of mishaps lead to Howard's brutal death when a lawnmower, activated by a chain reaction, tears through his face. Shaken, Stephanie gathers everyone and explains what she has learned. Death is now after all of Iris's blood relatives: Howard, Eric, Bobby, Julia, Darlene, Stephanie, and Charlie, in that exact order. The family is skeptical and angry. Later, Eric narrowly escapes death when a fire nearly consumes him, but a leather jacket protects him. Julia, however, isn't so lucky. A soccer ball knocks her into a dumpster, which is then picked up by a garbage truck, despite Stephanie's desperate attempt to save her. The compactor crushes Julia's skull. The family begins to believe Stephanie. Brenda reveals that Eric isn't Howard's biological son, which explains why he was skipped. Stephanie, Charlie, Darlene, and Bobby seek out a hospital worker named JB, who turns out to be William Bloodworth Tony Todd, the son of the lounge singer Iris saved. He confirms their fears and explains two ways to break death's chain: either take another life to gain their years or die and be revived. As Stephanie plans their next move, Eric and Bobby go rogue. Eric attempts to trigger Bobby's peanut allergy and revive him with an EpiPen, but things spiral out of control. An MRI machine activates, pulling Eric in and crushing him. Bobby survives the allergy, but a flying vending coil lodges in his head, killing him. Now only Stephanie, Charlie, and Darlene remain. Darlene decides to isolate herself in Iris's compound to break the chain. However, an explosion caused by faulty wiring kills her instead. Stephanie almost drowns but is revived by Charlie. They believe they finally escaped death. Days later, Stephanie prepares to return to college and sends Charlie to his prom, but is seemingly innocent. Penny falls onto train tracks, triggering another fatal sequence. A train derails, and just when the siblings believe they've survived, falling logs crush them both. The credits roll over a montage of news clippings from the Skyview disaster and its aftermath, ending with the obituary of Stephanie and Charlie. A final tribute appears, in memory of Tony Todd.